Hannah here, and today is week 2, day 6, and the materials we need for today's session is a black fine liner 01 pen and an 03 if you have it, and if not, a black biro or a gel pen will do, a black pencil, an earbud, or for those artists, a tortillon or a blending stump. And the outline we're doing today is an Easter bunny, seeing as it's Easter weekend. If you would like to get the materials ready, pause the video, and when you're settled comfortably, we'll begin. Using the tangles we've learnt this week, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 sections we're going to tangle in. And I'm going to start off with the feet, I think. And I'm going to use the tangle we did where 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this tangle is very simple. It's called Kiko, and the idea is you choose if you want the 4 lines straight, or it could be 5 lines if you choose, or whether you want them slightly curved, and you stick with that way the whole way through. Now I'm not going to tangle the whole thing in front of you because otherwise it could get rather boring. So I'm just going to do the left foot, and then I shall move on to another tangle. If you feel that you need to pause to catch up, then that's fine. Please feel free. I hope you're all enjoying your Easter weekend where you are. Here, for once, it's actually nice and sunny, which makes a change. Although maybe I shouldn't have said that because it will tempt fate. And before we know it, it will be raining in England again. And you've noticed that I've actually done this a lot quicker than I normally would have. Okay, so that's the left one done. I'm going to switch from my pen to my pencil, and I'm just going to add some shading. And if you recall, on the lines that are horizontal, where they meet the lines that go vertical, I'm just putting a small amount of pencil. I'm not going too mad with the amount that I put on because I don't want it to spread everywhere. And then using our earbud or our tortillon if you have one, I'm just gently going to smudge those lines out. And I choose to do all of the vertical lines or all the horizontal lines in one go, and then I turn it round and I do the opposite. That way I don't forget any. And those of you that contacted me asking for the outlines, I have emailed them to you. So I'm going to turn my sheet round, and I'm going back to do all of the horizontal lines where they meet the vertical lines. And then I'm switching to my earbud. I'm just gently moving that pencil line around, and you'll notice that I'm not moving my hand too much, and also I'm holding it very close to the end. That way I've got more control. Okay, so we've finished that foot. I've noticed that this bit down here, for some reason it seems to be sticking out visually, so I'm just going to put some shading, and I think that looks a bit better. I'm then going to move to this section, and I'm going to do the tangle with all of the orbs. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm just drawing a line that's about 1/2 centimetre from the bottom, and then I'm going to repeat that and do one that's 1/2 centimetre from the top, and then turn it back round. So we've now got two train lines, if you like, and in between each of those I'm just drawing some small circles that fit inside the lines. And again, I'm only going to do one row for you now, and then I shall move on to the next step. And I do enjoy doing this tangle, although I say that about all of them. I find the drawing of the circles quite relaxing. So normally I would now repeat all of that at the top, but I'm going to move to the middle and I'm going to draw a large circle. Now I find I prefer to start from the centre, but if you feel that you want to start from either end, that's fine. And the circles will fill the space, and they will just touch each other. And you'll notice that I'm doing the ones to the right first, and then I'm turning the bunny upside down, and I'm going to repeat and fill in the giant circles the other side. And here I can't fit a full one in, so I'm just going to draw as much as I can. And to finish this tangle, I'm just drawing circles in between each of the large circles, and I'm just colouring them in. And you'll notice that I've left a little gap there, and that's because I like to have that little sparkle. And I'm just going to do the top row on these ones, as I'm pretty sure you can imagine what the bottom row would look like. And then I will go over the shading again with you. So normally I would now draw some more circles at the bottom. I'm going to switch to my pencil, and the way that I like to shade this particular tangle is just to put a very, very light, like a smiley face, but to the side. And then using my earbud or a tortillon if you have one, I'm just going to shade that out, but I want to keep the same contour of that sideways smiley face. There we go. Now I've drawn in an extra pencil line here, and I'm going just to turn it up, and I'm just going to fill that in with pen so that we've got two separate lines. I suppose you could actually draw it however you want it to. And in this one here, I'm going to draw a tangle that's called Diva Dance, and this is where, if you have a thicker pen, because this is a larger area than the small 5 centimetre squared tiles we've been using during the week, you might want to colour the humps in with a thicker nib. And the general gist is that we put 1, 2 or even 3 lines, and then we choose a spot along that row, and I like to draw different shaped humps. You might like to keep them all the same. Again, it's entirely up to you. And I can't stress I'm going much quicker than I normally would. When I do this normally, I like to slow down so that I can really take my time and enjoy it. So you can imagine now that I was going to finish that along there. And for the shading on this, I'm just going to shade along the top, along the bottom, and then down the side. And then using my smudger, I'm just going to smudge that through. And you can imagine if that went all the way through, you'd shade all across the top, all across the bottom, and all down this side as well. We're going to move on to this section now, and I think I'll choose my probably top 5 favourite. And I'm drawing vertical lines starting from the centre, working out right to the right, and then I'm turning upside down, and I'm going to repeat that as well. And I'm trying to keep them around an equal distance apart. And then across the bottom, I'm going to draw two lines, and then from corner to corner. And you'll notice that in this one I'm actually doing it in pen. In the example I gave during the week, I actually drew it in pencil, but I'd like to show you how it would be finished if it was in pen. And I've just turned the page round, so each square will have what looks like a cross in it. And I'll work out about finishing that one off at the end. So if you recall how we did it during the week, I just draw, I like to think it's a little bubble, but just cut off the corners. And I tend to do all the ones going in the same direction first, and then turn it round and come back and do the ones in the opposite way. And even though we have the pen line down, I still want to draw over that centre line, if that makes sense. So if you can fill all of those triangles going in one direction, but just cut off the edge, round it, and then turn it and do the other way. And this is a particularly good tangle for decorating or embellishing on the inside. And I gave you some examples of how I like to decorate it, and today I'm going to show you another one. Obviously I'm not going to do all of the insides, and when you've finished, just have a look and make sure you haven't missed any, although I have missed the top of those off. And what I want to do on this one is I'm going to pick the sets of 4 rather than the sets of the 2, 4, 6, 8. And I'm just going to draw some curved lines around the 2 that are going in that direction. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to try and keep the curved lines so they almost look like a continuous circle. And what I mean by that is they look like they're going all the way around. And for the shading on this one, I'm going to pick the centre of each of the sets of 4. Oh, look, I missed one there. Oh, and another one there. Must need my eyes tested. And I'm just going, just in a circular movement, just moving that shading around. And this is where you can play, have fun, and decorate it how you would like to. So that just leaves us with the ears. And there's only one tangle left that we haven't done. And that's the nice, calming spiral. So that's the standard way of doing a spiral, and I'm just going to tuck the tail in there. Those of you that struggle with that way, you can always start from the outside and you can go in. And for those of you that want to put a little sparkle in, if you recall, we stop at the top and then restart, and I'll just draw that for you again. So we start with a dot in the center, we go out for 1 rotation and stop at the top, start again a couple of millimeters apart, go round again and stop at the same point, restart, go round again, and I like to do 1 or 2 rounds after that. So now I'm going to show you some examples of bunnies that I've done. And this was, I think this was the first one I did. And I've chosen different tangles for different spaces. Here's the one, Zentangle, which is one of my favourites. Here's the one with the orbs in. Here's the one that looks like a basket weave. This is that lovely spiral. And here is the one that's called the Diva Dance. Here's one that I've done. I've actually used 2 tangles from our previous sessions last week, which is this one and this one. And here you'll notice that the Zentangle I've coloured, or should I say drawn in each section. And then I've chosen to do the orbs in the ears. And then finally, I think this is my favourite one, I've just added a little bit of colour and some rosy cheeks and some whiskers. And I have to say that these 2 ears, they took an awful long time to do. I really slowed down and thoroughly enjoyed doing that. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. I hope you're all staying home and keeping safe. And please join me next week for week 3, day 1. Any questions or comments, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. Have a good weekend. Bye for now.